Hello there, everybody. Today, I weigh 145.4 pounds. That's a huge leap down from yesterday. I honestly don't know what happened, but I'm happy for it. Only zero point 0.4 more pounds to go. Moving along, what was eaten today? Well, if I'm being honest with you, I was a little naughty at the end, but we'll get into that. At the beginning of the day, I had a turkey sandwich with keto seed bread, mustard and mayonnaise, and sliced turkey, along with a Quest bag of protein chips that were pizza flavored. Very good. Moving along from that, I also had a Mr. Pibbs Zero Sugar, and that was really good as well. Okay, what was had for lunch? Well, I had a homemade salad courtesy of my mom, and I did put a little help in there too with some apple cider vinegar and some garlic that was crushed. That was mixed into the vinaigrette that would be poured into the deliciousness. And it had onions, it had mixed greens, it was like a spring salad. It had tomato, it had strawberries, it had feta cheese. It was very delicious. And then the last thing I ate today, and this is where things get a little controversial, I had one Outback coconut shrimp. Now, I know what you're thinking. That doesn't seem low carb or healthy at all. Isn't that deep fried and crunchy and sweet? And I'll tell you, yes, it is. Of course, I did ask Google if it was okay to eat on the ketogenic diet. And Google told me, yes, it is, as long as you only have one. So I asked for one from my mom and sister. My sister gave me one. So I ate it really slowly, because I really do like the coconut shrimp. It's just a shame that it has so many carbs. The other things I had from the Outback were a bowl of their house salad. It had iceberg lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, onions. The cheese was cheddar, by the way, and olive oil and a vinaigrette. It was really good. I liked it. A little sour, though, I have to be honest. Moving on from that, I had steamed broccoli, a 5-ounce sirloin that was medium rare, and finally, I had a delicious stack of shrimp, grilled shrimp. They were served on a piece of bread for some reason. Of course, I avoided the bread like the plague because I'm trying to stay low carb. But there was a dipping sauce that they had next to the sirloin and the shrimp, so I decided to dip the shrimp and the sirloin in there. And it tasted very creamy and good. Later on, I asked Google Gemini to see if there was any sweetener in there, and luckily it said there was a very minimal sweetener in there, so I should still be good and be in ketosis, so that's great. Moving along, the last thing that I remember having today was a cup of chamomile tea that was made and brewed by my sister with 2 equals in it. It was very tasty. I really enjoyed it. And the best part is, since it's herbal tea, it doesn't have caffeine in it, so hopefully I won't be staying up till like 3 in the morning watching videos about a guy talking about the Wii Fit board for some reason. Alright. Well, any exercise today, I have to be honest with you, pretty much no exercise today. Unless you count taking a shower as exercise. But seriously, no, I didn't do any exercise today. I know. Shame. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to expect from the scale tomorrow with that information in mind, but it's probably either going to be slightly increased or it's going to stay the same, or I might be surprised. I do know that the amount of poundage you drop heavily depends on your energy to calorie deficit ratio. So I probably ate enough for my body to live off of for the next day. So I'm probably just gonna see it stagnate right now, which is kind of annoying. So close to my goal, I could just taste it. Okay, well, now we can move on to the daily update. Yippee! So, with the daily update, I remember waking up at around 10 o'clock, and when I got up, I needed to use the restroom. I checked my weight, and after I checked my weight, I decided to go into the living room and play some more Indiana Jones and the Great Circle on my PlayStation 5. I'm still in the part where you're in like the catacombs that were busted in by the Italian soldiers, and you have to either sneak past them, take them out sneakily, or cause an all-out brawl with a bunch of them. And the thing was, I did get a little bit further this time around, like halfway through, but then I was taken out. And then it started me at the very beginning of the mission, which was like 20 minutes worth. So after that happened, I was like, I'm gonna put it away for now. I don't feel like going through all that again. So I turned the game off and turned it off. Then I went to the kitchen. My family friend was asking me if I used the Rise Mushroom coffee powder, and I said I did, and she said it's hers, and I should ask next time. And I said okay. And then I asked if I could make a Rise coffee for her and me, and she said yes. So I decided to do that. I made her a coffee with a shot of espresso, the Rise coffee, with a little bit of half and half, and 2 equals. And I blended that with an emulsifying blender, and I gave it to her. And she only took 1 sip, and she was so disgusted by the taste of it, she didn't even finish it. I made mine, and I drank the whole thing like it was medicine. It wasn't that bad. I think the Equal definitely did a good job helping mask some of the more wonkiness flavors of it, but it certainly was something I would only drink just to get the health benefits from. Well, after that, I suddenly needed to use the restroom because the Rise powder has MCT oil in it. And MCT oil makes you need to use the restroom. So when I was in there, I was asking Google about the state of the stock market right now because I was curious about how it was doing. And apparently it's not doing so hot. Apparently the president is stating that there needs to be we need to have ownership of Greenland, and like he's threatening tariffs on Europe because of it. It's really weird. Not exactly sure what's going on there. Very bizarre. Well, apparently that caused uncertainty in the market, which caused the stocks to drop significantly today, which pretty crazy. But yeah, after I was doing my research, I kept on hearing, oh, gold, silver, that's good stuff, you should invest in that. So it was like, oh, I wonder if I should invest in gold and silver. And so I asked Google Gemini, and it said it's got a high maintenance cost, and on top of that, it really isn't built to pay you out with dividends at all, and the growth has mostly just remained stagnant for the past like 2 decades, and it's something that really doesn't like, it's more of like something you put your money in just as like to retain your money's value, but it's not something you put in as the risk reward, see if it pays out and you get rewarded for investing kind of deals. So I guess it was good to know that information. I really appreciated that. Well, after my research session, my mom arrived and we greeted her, and she said she was hungry, and then I suggested a salad. She said that was a great idea. She asked me for my help, so I opened garlics, I crushed them, I poured some apple cider vinegar in a bowl with the garlic. Then she mixed everything with olive oil and little mayonnaise and salt and pepper and put it all together, and then put that in a salad with mushrooms and tomatoes and onions um, and, and mixed greens, and it was really good. We really enjoyed it. But there was one problem. My mom didn't like the tangier taste because of the apple cider vinegar. So, yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. But my sister had a brilliant idea while we were in the middle of eating it, stating that we should definitely have feta cheese put on as well as strawberries. So we tried that out, and boy oh boy was she right, because it was delicious. I loved every second of it. Well, after our meal, I knew I wanted to take a shower before we left. So, because we were going to see a movie tonight with my middle sister, Marty Supreme. So I went into the restroom and I took a shower. When I got out, I decided to put on this here shirt that I got for Christmas by my mom, because I was like, well, I haven't worn this yet, might as well wear it today, right? So I put on the shirt and I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. Um, and I spent some time looking for like the perfect pair of pants and like socks and all that good stuff. Um, Luckily, our family friend decided to buy me socks for my birthday because I asked for it. Because all my current socks right now are very holy, and I don't like that. Well, after I was done taking my shower and putting on moisture cream and then deodorant and all that good stuff and combing my hair, I went and I remember my middle sister was texting if we'd be interested in watching One Piece after the movie at home. And I went to my youngest sister and asked her if she'd think it'd be a good idea to put up the projector. She said that she doesn't think it would be a good idea because, like, by the time we would return from the Marty Supreme movie, it would be like late at night. It would be too cold, and no one would want to, be out there in the cold watching the film or the episodes when it's like, shivering. Instead, as she suggested, we just watch them on the TV instead. So, I was conflicted because I was like really interested in putting up the screen and putting up the TV, because I remember watching a video of how you properly set up the screen. But I decided to break the stalemate by asking my sister, middle sister, on the phone. She said that she agreed with my youngest sister that it would be too late and that it would be better to watch it inside with the TV. So that broke the stalemate, and but she did suggest that next time she decides to come pay a visit, we'll definitely set up the screen, and she even has a One Piece cookbook where we can make a delicious One Piece meal and watch new episodes of the series while eating the One Piece meal. So I thought that was a cool and interesting idea. Really appreciated it. So yeah, after that was settled, my sister got ready for the outing, and my mom got ready, and I was waiting, and once everyone was good to go, I was trying to text my middle sister that we were on our way to the restaurant. Of course, my mom wanted to know if my sister would be arriving at the house or if she'd be arriving at the restaurant. So, I tried texting her, but she wouldn't respond. Although I did tell her that we'd be visiting at the restaurant a few days ago, like through text, so I'm pretty sure she was able to get the message. But we eventually left. And when we but before we left, I did do 20 minutes of Brain Jam Extra editing, when in reality it wasn't so much editing as it was drawing some frames for a sequence in the Brain Jam video where I'm reading through a comment from a guy called Go Goats Gadget, and I basically decided to take the head of this cartoon goat and stick him on top of the body of the Inspector Gadget character, and that's pretty much what I drew. And I'm going to use that to demonstrate what the commenter is talking about to make the video more visually interesting and engaging. So yeah, that's what I did for 20 minutes. And then after that, we left. As we were driving, my mom was listening to music that was made by this woman who sang the song, "I Will Survive, I Will Survive." And eventually she decided to return to singing, but now she sings Christian music, which was interesting. It was nice sounding worship music. Eventually we arrived, and then we finally did get a call from my middle sister telling us that she would be arriving a little late around, we were waiting there for 5, but she said her estimated time of arrival would be 5:30 because she was in a meeting with a client about a new deal she's working on for creating this cool set of Alice in Wonderland trading cards. And apparently the guy she was talking to was like super nerdy and was like really interested in talking about what they were discussing, but she had to go. Is how she described the event happening. She was on her way, and we hung out in the car for a bit. My mom and my sister were looking through different cats because our family friend said she wanted a cat, and they wanted to see if they could get a cat for a family friend. Eventually, they were like, maybe that might throw the equilibrium off for having too many cats in the house. So they were a bit unsure about that. Eventually, we got out of the car and we went to the restaurant. We got our seats. Luckily, they were seats that were facing the door, the entrance, so we could see when my middle sister would eventually arrive. They gave us bread. Of course, my mom ate the bread. I avoided the bread. And cups of water, because water is free. And eventually, we were making our orders. Finally, my middle sister arrived. She let a few patrons in before she arrived in, and then when she greeted us with hugs, and it was pretty awesome. So we looked through the menus and we were deciding what we wanted. Eventually, I decided on the sirloin with the grilled shrimp and the 2 sides, which of course I kept to be veggie based. And then my middle sister wanted a potato soup, and my mom and youngest sister wanted to split a hamburger with fries. So, and my mom and sister got coconut shrimp as a appetizer. So we were able to get our food in, and it was very good. I really enjoyed my steak and my shrimp. For some reason, they put the shrimp on top of on bread, which was weird to me. Why? Who eats shrimp on bread? It's like they were like trolling my decision to try to be as low carb as possible. But maybe that's just how they serve it in the restaurant. I don't know. It was pretty funny though. Of course, that's how they serve it. Why else? But anyways, after we were done, we split the bill equally. I used my gift card for the place because we all had gift card for the place. Sadly, though, my middle sister did not bring her gift card. And my mom did not have a gift card either. But me and my youngest sister did. And after we paid for our meal, we used the restroom, and then we left to eventually get to the theater where we got our tickets scanned. Luckily, I took screenshots of the tickets, so I had them ready to go without having to wait for the internet connection to go. And then we walked in and took our seats. But before we took our seats, I needed to use the restroom. Then when we're done, we sat and we watched this movie. There was a bunch of different trailers playing. Most of them were like just kind of fine-looking action movies or romance or period pieces. One stood out to me, though, because I'm a huge UFO nut, and that was this film called Disclosure Day, directed by my man, Steven Spielberg, one of my favorite storytellers of all time, um, covering one of my favorite subjects of all time. It's like Christmas came early. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, I'm definitely going to check this film out. It looks like it's definitely following a lot of the UFO lore that's been shared and talked about over the years. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Mr. Spielberg comes up with this new tale. It's going to be really cool. Um, yeah, the trailer had sort of a foreboding and ominous and uncomfortable feel, but also a feeling of curiosity and hope, which I was totally down with. And then after the trailers played, I remember my mom and sister were kind of disappointed that there wasn't the lady at the beginning of the film that said, "Because here they are." I'm forgetting her name right now. But they did play her like for a brief moment at the very end, so like clearly like they still have her like involved, but it seemed like they wouldn't, but they were able to get her in at the last moment. And then the movie started. So this movie, Marty Supreme, is one of the strangest, most aggressive, most messy, and most in your face and unpredictable, unhinged movies I've seen in a long time, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a cavalcade of unpredictable moment after unpredictable moment, and just things getting more and more like just bizarre and strange as the film progresses. And it's really like a movie about like a narcissist who like learns what happens like when his actions have consequences, and how like the kind of people like he attracts in his life because of his decisions. And it's really and sometimes it's stuff that's out of his control, and other times it's stuff that's directly because of his choices. And it's a really really interesting, really cool character study. If you like movies that are about like terrible people but show you why being terrible is a bad thing, but not beating you over the head with it, and simply just showing this character and this is who this character is, and you just have to accept who this character is, then I think you're going to have a great ride with it. It's definitely a bumpy ride, but a fun ride. It's like the Indiana Jones and the Disney ride at of A24 films, but of course much more hardcore, more edgy, more gritty, and more in your face. Yeah, I'd give it a thumbs up if you're into films like that. Well, anywho, after we were done watching the movie, we were discussing it. We were really into it. My sisters seemed to really enjoy it. And then we were driving home. Both my sisters went in my middle sister's car, and then me and my mom went in our car. On our way, my mom was trying to find a way back to the house, and we kind of got a little lost, but we eventually found our way. And we drove off, and we were discussing the film and all. It was we had a pretty good discussion. Now, when we arrived back, we thought we were there before my two sisters, but it turns out my two sisters were already there. And my mom apparently told me that our family friend was interrupting her by the end of the film, basically let her know that Malcolm, our cat, ran in the room, which kind of a silly thing to interrupt, unless it's something really serious, like, I don't know, maybe acknowledge the person trying to enjoy the film and wait until they're done, I guess, but I don't know. It's a weird thing to remind you of, Your cat's in your room! I'm trying to watch the movie, Well, anyways, moving on from that, my mom wanted to see if Malcolm was in her room. She was having a hard time finding him. I eventually found him under the bed, and then he jumped up onto my mom's bed and decided to sleep there. And I snuggled him a little. My mom snuggled him, brought him out into the den where she had the cat greeted by my sisters and our family friend for putting him back in her room. And then my sister wanted us to watch One Piece. My other middle sister wanted us to watch One Piece. My youngest sister made tea for everyone. And my middle sister was telling me about this audiobook she was listening to recently called The Buffalo Hunter's Hunter, which she said is like one of the most interesting and insane books she's ever experienced. She said the full audiobook's available on YouTube. She highly recommends it. I think I may give it a shot. I usually dig a lot of the same stuff she digs, so I'll see if this one's right up my alley. Now, we watched One Piece, which is called One Piece because this is a fan edit where it takes the anime and tries to condense it down to the original manga storyline, shot for shot. So it's an easier way to digest the story. And it was a pretty good episode. This one was about Monkey D. Luffy trying to rescue the swordsman with the 3 swords and stopping this guy with this big metal jaw at the beginning of the story. He was like a total egotistical tyrant. They end up saving the day at the end and the town by essentially taking out the tyrant. And then Luffy's able to get this kid who's tagged along with him when they first met around the first or second episode to fulfill his dreams of being part of the Marines. So it's a pretty good episode overall. I described it like that, but it was like 2 episodes we watched separately that I kind of combined into one short explanation. And it's good little introduction of the swordsman, the reason why he does what he does. Sadly, what happened to his lady or girl that he was trying to defeat, and how she apparently accidentally died, and now he commits to being the greatest swordsman in the world. Monkey D. Luffy's being just completely casual about every situation and just that's how it is. I'm not gonna let this emotionally phase me. I'm too into my goal to let any opposition drag me down, which honestly I think a lot more people should adopt that attitude because it's a really good attitude to have. It was just a solid little introduction to a new character, and now the story's really starting to get into high gear. Well, after we were done watching that, my sister decided to go home. My mom decided to go to bed. Our family friend decided to go to bed. I decided to take my vitamins and brush my teeth, and as I was doing that, me and my sister were talking about the Disclosure Day trailer and our opinions about it. How we thought it was really ethereal and interesting, and how it may be predictive programming, where they're just preparing us for the eventual reveal of whatever the government's been hiding all this time, supposedly. But I don't know. Be cool if we found out. And then I did 20, 25 minutes of line work. I basically did the exact same location again. So this was from yesterday. And as you can see, those windows are kind of messed up looking, and those boxes are a bit bigger than they need to be. Clearly my eyes were focused on certain things and not focused on other things. So I tried to use the redraw that and make it the squares are of the windows anchors for the scene. Now everything's not fully drawn in, like the creases of the curtain or the table that the alien doll and the coins and the timer are sitting on. Also, this thing right here is a little too long. I found like it's exceeding this when the reality I measured by eye and it's supposed to be like this big instead. So not exactly sure how I stretched that one out. Clearly, like my eyes judged the length a little too harshly, I suppose. But yeah, after doing that line work while listening to a guy talk about Casey Jones from a YouTube channel. I forget the name of it. It's like an old guy who likes to talk about the history of Disney animated content. He's a really interesting fellow. You could tell he's got his heart in it, and he really enjoys what he talks about. And I really appreciate that. And after doing that, I was like, it's time for an update. So here it is. Time is currently 12:51 a.m. I want to go to bed before 1 a.m. So this is it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I can get my circadian rhythm back in line by doing these update videos immediately instead of waiting for no reason or just getting caught up in dumb videos and then doing it at the crack of dawn. So yeah, I better stop yapping. Okay, good night everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video. Take care.